Hi friends, JAB Legal and Regulatory Aspects. So today we are going to complete control of banks in part 2. So first of all, Board of Directors. Section 10 deals with Board of Directors. Maybe 10A, 10B, 10BB. There are various subsections, don't worry. Section 10B deals with Board of Directors. Section 36 deals with RBI powers to act upon Board of Directors, Chairman, removal of Board of Directors, appointment of additional directors, etc. But so these are the two important sections. So as per section 10, 51% of Board of Directors need to be qualified persons across various fields. At least two of them need to be from agriculture, rural economy, small scale industries, cooperative sectors, etc. So all the Board of Directors needs qualifying shares, no relation or no substantial interest in other firms or companies. What is relation? Relation is they can't be an employee. Employment is a relation. They can't be agent. These are the relations. So they should not have any relation with any firm or company which is in trade. And what is substantial interest? Substantial interest is defined like this: having 10% or more in any firm, 10% or more in any company, or 5 lakhs or more in any company. So in case of firm, if you have 10%, that's it. You have substantial interest in that firm. In case of company, if you have 5 lakhs, you have substantial. Or if you have 10% or share of that company, you have substantial interest. And one more thing you need to note here: not one person, the person's whole family is considered. Say for example, you declared that your parents, your children, your wife, that is the family, as dependents. So when they calculate the share, yours, your wife's, as well as children's, as well as parents, everything is counted in as one. So even minor child also considered. So it is not the one person, it is the families. That's why many people do this practice. They diversify among them. So if total family will be considered for this. So if we have shares such a pattern, that will be considered as substantial interest. The maximum tenure of appointment is 8 years. It can be reappointed or re-elected. This Board of Directors, these are like MPs, Member of Parliaments. What is for India? Board of Directors for company. So they are part of decision making. So this board is reconstituted as per schedule. So if a Board of Directors retires, then another person gets in. So the election held as per the schedule. There are two types of elections. At once are staggered elections. That means in case of Lok Sabha, at once elections happens at once. In case of Rajya Sabha, 2/3 of members every year, 1/3 of members retires every year. So in that way, staggered elections happens. So it can be either of these two as per the decision of organization. So reconstitution can be as per the schedule, or RBI directs to reconstitute a board under section 36 when it doesn't fall under the norms. RBI can remove any board of director, can appoint a board of director also. RBI can also appoint additional board of directors under the BR Act 36. So it is in the interest of bank and public and customers. These additional directors don't need qualifying shares. All directors need qualifying shares. Additional directors and independent directors don't need qualifying shares. And coming to chairman. Chairman is like Prime Minister to our country. So in case of board, it is chairman for a company. So full-time chairman need to be appointed. His tenure is 5 years. He can be reappointed. Not a problem. Part-time can be appointed on approval of RBI. Temporary director can be appointed on approval of RBI when the need arises, like director chairman resigns or goes to heaven, then you can appoint a temporary director, maximum for the period of 4 months. In case of absence of chairman, in case of absence of chairman, any of the above three, temporary chairman or part-time chairman or full-time chairman, managing director will take upon the responsibilities of the company. So this chairmanship is an employment, so they can't, so always we can work at one place only. So you can't work in another bank or at any other place officially. So as it is, chairmanship is also an employment, so no other interest should be there. So you know what is substantial interest. Also he can't work anywhere because it will contradict, but there are some exceptions. He can hold honorary positions. What is honorary position? Say for example, he is a president of some college, some director of some college. These are honorary positions. So such positions they can hold, and they can be directors of subsidiary companies also. So for this chairmanship, knowledge and experience is a must, and as all the rules applicable to directors also applicable to chairman also, because all the rules applicable to MP is also applicable to Modi also, no doubt. Then RBI can remove directors as well as chairman. In case of chairman, RBI can remove with 2 months notice. They generally give notice, there is no restriction to give notice. Then if these people, the chairman or the organization aggrieved by the decision of RBI, they can approach government of India. That means they can appeal to government of India within 30 days of the order of RBI. So the RBI's directions are effective immediately. Okay, they don't need time to take effect. So from that point of time, 30 days window is available, and RBI can fill position for the rest of period. For example, the tenure of the chairman is for 5 years. He already completed 3 years. The remaining period is only 2 years. So in this case, RBI can appoint a chairman for a tenure of 2 years, but it can't appoint for 5 years. Then comes corporate governance. The organization is huge and it involves lot of things. That's why in olden days we don't know what is going on happening there. That's why many frauds happened across the world. In India, the famous one everybody knows, Sachin. So in case of Sachin, what happened? Nobody knows what happened in the organization up to the point Chairman Ramalingam Raju declared it. That is the problem with organizations, and it is very dangerous for economy as well as capital markets because people lose trust. That's why OECD principles 2004, these are the principles we are following now across the world. These are Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This organization framed these principles, and based on those principles we are working. So these principles directs organizations that effective corporate governance is needed, and also give information about rights and equitable treatment of shareholders. So what are the rights they have? Equitable treatment needed to be there for shareholders, and about stakeholders. See, in case of Satyam, after the fraud, the suffered ones are not only the shareholders, but the employees also suffered a lot, and many other people who are dependent on that. So, who are stakeholders? Who are shareholders? Whoever purchased shares, they are shareholders. They also stakeholders, because stakeholders are the ones whoever have a relation with company. Say for example, in XYZ Bank, whoever purchased shares of XYZ Bank are shareholders. as they have relation with XYZ bank, having interest in bank, they are stakeholders also. At the same time, the employees of XYZ bank are also stakeholders. The families of employees are also stakeholders. That means in your bank you are stakeholder and your family is also stakeholders, and the customers also stakeholders, public also stakeholders, government of India, state governments, everybody is stakeholders who have some interest or some relation with that organization. So stakeholders also get affected with this false information as well as frauds. So stakeholders also have the rights. And these responsibility of corporate governance, maintaining corporate governance, holds on board of directors as well as chairman. So these are held accountable for this. I think this is enough for corporate governance. Thank you.